Alright, welcome back to Pokkén Tournament DX. Today we're gonna do a guide and we're gonna learn how to play a character. Alright, this one will be on the standard type character Suicune. Second generation, gold, silver, and crystal. This will be the crystal version mascot. I'll try to keep everything Johto, so I'll make Suicune's opponent Scizor and I'll use the Johto only supports. Alright, so I'll use Celebi since Suicune is a legendary. And then there are no regional themed stages, alright, so I'll just pick the water stage. Alright. So we got Johto characters, Johto supports. Alright, so I'll just switch this to Celebi, okay? So Suicune is a standard type character. I guess I should explain the goal of this. The goal of this guide, if you know nothing about this character, then when you watch this video, if you're watching it from start to finish, you should know everything that there is to know about this character. Now, what I won't cover is I won't cover combos. So character specific combos, HP threshold combos, damage calcs, I won't cover that. Okay, that's all stuff that you'll find out on your own, you know, wall combos, stuff like that. And I'm not doing that. I'll give you some general combos, and then we'll keep it moving. All right, but if you don't know anything about the character, you should have a complete understanding by the time I finish with this, okay? So Suicune is a standard type character. I'd say that Suicune probably can fight at all ranges, mid-range, close range, long range, but I think excels in mid to long range combat. Suicune is big on projectiles and Suicune is big on counters, alright? So if you sounds like that's the kind of gameplay you like, then maybe you can give Suicune a try. I think Suicune is a perfect entry-level zoning character for people to get into. Suicune's not a hard character to learn, okay? As with all characters in all fighting games, it takes, you know, they're hard to master. But in Suicune's cases, Suicune has a low skill threshold, you know, for play, okay? So what we'll start with, I usually start with weak attacks, strong attacks, special attacks, and then I go into different movement options. So I'll start with the neutral weak attack. I think you've seen the movement I've been running around already. Okay, so the neutral weak attack is this: it fires out a water projectile. When it reaches a certain point, I think if you see this white ring here, when it reaches this white ring, then the ball will split up. Okay, this is all it really is. It just to kind of, you know, sets up for you to follow up with different moves. Okay, depending on how close you are, you'll be able to follow up with different moves and get that phase shift that you're looking for. The side weak attacks is honestly, there's it's pretty committal. Okay, well, you can commit halfway or you commit all the way. If you press it once, you get one water ball that comes out. Notice the delay on that. If you press the input twice, then you get 2 more water balls that'll come out. By the time you've gotten to this point, you should pretty just commit to either a special or the next follow-up. If you just mash the button, Suicune will go into its forward weak attack, which I think you might also be able to chain that into Aurora Beam. Let me see. Yeah, you could, but pretty much if you've hit them with all 3 balls, just go for the phase shift, okay? That's probably the simplest way I can put it. Let's see, any back weaks? Yeah, we have the his backward weak attack, or its backward weak attack puts up an ice fence. Okay, this thing will block some projectiles, not all. Weak projectiles I think it'll have no problem getting rid of, but eventually it will be destroyed. Then if you hold down the button, you'll get the larger version of it. You can only have one of these things out at a time, okay? As soon as you put one out, the old one disappears. If you can hit your opponent with it, it does not knock your opponent down. But you don't want to be too close to your opponent when you put it out, because if you're too close, you won't hit your opponent at all. So usually, I think if you're fighting against Suicune, you'll probably see Suicune use this. If your opponent, if you are on the ground, they'll put this thing out, or if they have you on the wall, you know, and they knocked you out from duel into field, they're going to put this out just to block you out, and you know, probably set you up on something. I think the only drawback on this is that sometimes if you're too close, you won't be able to see where your opponent is or what they're doing. So I've had times where I've had Suicune put up a wall and I was fighting the Suicune and I've been able to hit Suicune through the wall, or you know, Suicune was able to hit me because I couldn't see where Suicune was and what it was doing. Disjointed hitbox will hit Suicune through this. Very strong projectiles will ignore this wall altogether and hit Suicune anyway. Let's see. We got the forward weak attack. Forward weak attack sends out this, it's just like a wave of water. Okay. Let's see, what's the range on it? If you're an extreme distance away, you will not hit your opponent with it. Okay. Like I think even if you're from this distance, you won't be able to hit your opponent. You gotta be reasonably close or reasonably far away from your opponent in order to hit it. It's a straight shot, so if your opponent is moving left and right, they should pretty easily avoid it, but I think it's very good at taking out jumping opponents, as long as they're not, you know, directly above you when you put it out, and you won't hit them with it. Okay. Lastly, I think you have the, let's see, neutral, side, back, forward. Yep. Last is your aerial. Your aerial weak attack will drop down this big ball of water, I think, as you can see. If your opponent gets hit with just one, like if your opponent gets hit once, then that just, you know, lets you throw out more projectiles. But if they get hit with both hits, that's usually a safe, you can usually safely follow up with either Aurora Beam or with Hydro Pump. Okay. Now that was, I spent too much time watching the animation, so that's what you want to do. You want to immediately go into Hydro Pump if they get hit by both hits. Okay, but that's it for the weak attacks. For the strong attacks, I believe Suicune only has two: the pursuit attack and the air dash into a dive kick. Okay, the pursuit attack is a 3-input 3-hit move. So this is what it looks like. Alright, if you charge the button, this is what it looks like when you hold the last hit. Okay, I'll also show what it looks like on shield. Okay, as always, charged pursuit attacks will break shields. That's what the normal version of it looks like. The charged version of it looks like this. Okay, the charged pursuit attacks always break shields. The only other strong attack that Suicune has is an air dash into a dive kick. Once you use this move, you commit to it. You cannot cancel out of it. Okay, Suicune will dash through the air and dive and, you know, shoot down to hit your opponent. Let's see, what you can do is you can either use it high in the air or you can use it low to the ground. Okay, if you are near your opponent, you don't want to jump high into the air, otherwise you're going to overshoot them. Okay, over and over again, you want to make sure that you're low to the ground. All right, so high to the air is a no, low to the ground is a yes. All right, next we got special attacks. Okay, you have the neutral special, which I think you've seen a couple times already, which is Aurora Beam. Simply tapping that button will get you Aurora Beam. Depending on how far or how close away from your opponent, you will get the phase shift. But if you're extremely far away from your opponent, you'll hit them, but you won't get the phase shift that you may be looking for. Okay, you got to be a little closer than that to be able to get that phase shift. Okay, you can aim this move to the left and to the right just by pressing the input. So you can input to the left and use it, or you can input to the right and use it, and, you know, do a neutral input and you'll get it. And that's all there is to that. Okay, you have the forward special attack, which is Hydro Pump. Okay, it has a lot of startup to it, but when it hits, it will cause a phase shift. This is what the game calls a major damage dealer. Again, if you're too far away from your opponent, you'll hit, or I should say, if you're extremely far away from your opponent, you will hit, but it will not cause the phase shift. You gotta be a little closer. Okay, because this move has a lot of startup, you are able to cancel it by pressing the shield button. You can cancel it quickly, or you can cancel very late into the move. Okay, when you look at Suicune's tails, when those tails snap, that's the cutoff point for a cancel. Okay, so like when Suicune lurches forward for that attack, that's beyond the cancel boundary. Okay, but that's all Hydro Pump is. Usually Hydro Pump is what you want to use as a big follow-up. Okay, so you throw something like this down, there's still ends in the stagger from the aerial weak attack, and then you can follow up with a hydro pump. You don't want to use this after like your side weak attacks because it just takes too long, and your opponent will be able to go for they'll just be able to block it. Okay, your hydro pump can be blocked. Okay, but I mean not blocked. It can be countered. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you use it up close, your opponent's gonna cancel it and punish you for it. Okay. Let's see. We have the gimmick. Suicune's gimmick is its back special, Mirror Coat. This will allow you to automatically counter projectiles. I think with the exception of ethereal counterattacks and like stuff like Mewtwo's Hyper Beam that just pierce counters altogether. So if I can time this right. Alright, that should be good. So if I did this properly, this is what it looks like. Alright. Alright. If you try to use it like it's not a frame 1 counter, so if you try to use it like a frame 1 counter, you're gonna get stuffed. Okay? So you don't want to use it like that. Let's see. I'll take off the command input relay. And this works for all manner of stuff. Things that you wouldn't think are projectiles, like Pikachu's electrical attacks, those will count. Blastoise's forward weak attack and field phase is Earthquake. That will also count as a projectile. So just test it out on different things to see what you can and can't counter. Let's see. Next, I think, is the charged special attack. This is Icy Wind, and there are 3 versions of this. Okay, there is no indicator when you hold down the special button. So I'm holding the shield because it's easy to do, and then I'll just hold down the special button. When you start to glow like this or pulsate, that means that you have that charged special active. And when you use it, I'll do the small version of it. When you use it, Suicune sends out a small little tornado. Okay, there are 3 versions of this, and you have to pay attention to the pulses. Okay, so the first version of it you can use as soon as Suicune starts to pulse. Okay, if you look at this charge, you can count the pulses on it. So that's a pulse, 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 pulse. Okay, after 4 pulses, you'll get the medium version of Icy Wind. Okay, now notice how it flew farther and it knocked Scizor into the air. The third version of it requires 8 pulses. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the 8th version of it will follow your opponent and it'll go the length of the arena. I picked this arena because it did fit Suicune's water type theme, but it's also one of the largest stages in the game. Okay, so it was perfect for me to showcase this stuff. 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'll send it out again so that you can see it again. So that's what that is. All right, so again, we got the small version, we got the mid version that you can fire after 4 pulses, and then we got the largest version that you can fire after 8 pulses. 7, 8, I think 9. That should be good. And that's that. Okay, the last special attack is, I believe, Blizzard. Okay, this is your jumping special. Okay, this move is set in stone. You cannot change its direction. You cannot change its angle. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it hits. Causes a phase shift. You can, however, because it's got a lot of startup, you are able to cancel it. Okay, but keep in mind that when you cancel, you cannot change you have no directional input when you cancel. Your Suicune will always flip backwards, and you won't have input returned to you until you land. Okay, but you can use this low to the ground if for whatever reason you wanted to use it like that. Okay, and I think that's everything for Suicune's field phase moves. Okay, next is what? Just movement stuff, so you can see how fast it is. It's got decent movement speed. This is that's right, the counters. Well, I haven't gotten to that point yet, but these are his dashes. This is a side dash. His back dash is very bad. Suicune is not a retreat character. Suicune is a stay and fight and push the offense if you need to kind of character. These are his forward dashes. Let's see. Next is Suicune's counters. Okay, Suicune's counters are its other gimmick. Okay, Suicune has 3 versions of its neutral counter. Okay, so if you just press the input, Suicune will dash forward. Okay, this is what it looks like when it hits. Okay, it causes the phase shift. But if you just press the input, Suicune will dash forward. If you press the input and you press the weak attack button, Suicune will instead shoot into the air. Okay, this is what it looks like when it hits. Okay, now if you press the input and during this dash you press the weak attack input, like during when Suicune turns green, if you press the input during that dash, Suicune will do both. Okay, it'll dash forward and then dash into the air. So this is, I'll do it again. All right, and this is what it looks like when it hits. All right, so 3 versions of it. All right, and it also works for the charged versions as well. Okay, so this is the neutral. This is the aerial version. And this is the combined version. All right, 3 versions of the neutral counterattack. Now these are Suicune's dash cancels. This is what dash cancel looks like. Its back dash cancel is very bad. This is its side dash cancels. All right, those are, I guess, okay. If you need them, they're there. And then lastly is its grab. And I think that's it for field phase. Okay, next we got dual phase. Okay, dual phase. You give me a sec and I will probably just input what these stances do, but this is the low stance and this is the high stance. All right, this is its movement: forward, backward movement, forward dash, backward dash. The backward dash is much better in duel than it is in field. Okay, now for attacks, we have weak attacks. Weak attack, you have, I think, 3 inputs. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, if you mash it, you'll go into Aurora Beam. Okay, Aurora Beam is really the only thing that you can really combo into. It's not much to it because I think Hydro Pump is too slow, and everything else wouldn't work. It's either too slow or they're not in the right position for you to be able to hit with it. So if you find yourself on the ground with your opponent, just go for the full combo, and then continue from there. You have the forward weak attack, which I want to say it looks like, I don't know if Suicune learns tail whip and double kick in the mainline games, but it looks like tail whip and then double kick. Okay, this is your launcher. You can use this for all kinds of different attacks. When you're first starting out, you'll probably just combo it into itself 3 times and get your phase shift. When you get a little better, you'll combo it into your normals. Okay, and then when you get the hang of canceling, you may cancel it into your Aurora Beam a couple times. And there's also other stuff that you can combo it into, which I'll demonstrate a little bit later. You have the back weak attack, which is this. It's a grab crush. Okay, Suicune puts itself in the air, so keep that in mind if you have supports that take advantage of you being in the air. Okay, so if I make scissor grab, this is what it looks like. Okay, it will crush the grab every time. Okay, what you can do is you can follow this up with the low strong attack. So when you hit, just follow it up with a low strong attack and you can get just a nice combo there. All right, I used the wrong move there. That was not the right move, but you get the idea. Okay, whoops, there we go. That's what I needed. And if I do it again, all right, easy phase shift. It's just there if you need it. Let's see. Next, we have the high stance weak attack, which is what I accidentally did. Okay, this is just a headbutt. If you press it once, this is what it looks like if you're just doing it on empty space. Once you hit your opponent with it, if you mash it, it automatically cancels into Hydro Pump. If you want, you can cancel it into Aurora Beam by just pressing the special button. Otherwise, if you're mashing it, you'll always mash it into Hydro Pump. You can also chain this off of double kick. So you go into double kick. You can do that for a very easy phase shift if you like. I think low stance is very good. It's a good poke. It's got good range on it. So this is what it looks like. And this is kind of like the range on it. I think like the maximum range on it. So it's very good. I find I enjoy using it as a poke. And I think lastly we got what? Forward, backward, low, neutral, high. We got the aerial, okay? Your aerial is going to be your bread and butter for damage dealing, okay? When you don't need to be near your opponent, don't be near your opponent, okay? Just do this. You'll just move back and forth, okay? Staying at mid-range. You don't need to be at long range, but just keep doing this, and you can put damage on your opponent. When you get close enough, you can, you know, go for juggles and do whatever you want from there. And I think that's it for the weak attacks. Okay, next we got the strong attacks. Neutral strong and forward strong are the same move. They are a geyser that Suicune shoots out of the ground. Okay, this is with the neutral strong. This is forward strong. Forward strong is more so for mid range. Okay, so that's close range, and then forward strong for mid range. Okay, when your opponent is grounded, it doesn't do anything. Okay, however, when your opponent is in the air, it will launch them. Okay, which then you can use to combo into whatever it is that you like, you know, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's what that does. Back strong does nothing. Okay, back strong is just the same thing, the geyser. Your high strong. Okay, that is what this wheel thing that Suicune does. It jumps into the air, spins like 2 or 3 times, and then lands. Okay, it's got 3 versions of it. Very little variation between the two. If you just do a regular one, Suicune spins. If you do up and towards your opponent, Suicune will spin a very small distance forward. Okay, if you do up and away from your opponent, Suicune will spin away. Okay, so you got neutral, you got up and forward, up and back. Okay, and then that's it. Your low stance strong attack is this, which I think you've seen in as a kind of like a combo follow-up. It's kind of a get off me kind of deal. This is more so I think for mid-range get off me if you want to use it. If you do normal, neutral, weak, and then press strong, you'll immediately combo into the low stance strong. Okay, so you don't have to actually input the down. You can just do weak strong, okay, and go from there. Yeah, so if you're up close and you want them to get off you, use low stance weak, and then when they're at mid range, you go for low stance strong. Okay. Next we got what? The aerial strong. The aerial strong is just a dive kick. There is nothing to this. It's just a dive kick. You land it and you go for a combo, and that's it. Okay, that's all it is. Nothing special to it. That's all it is. It just sets up for a combo. Then we have what? Specials. Specials are largely the same. I'll go over Aurora Beam because there's I think 4 different versions of Aurora Beam in Duel. But you have neutral is your horizontal Aurora Beam. If you hold down the up button, up special is also an angled Aurora Beam. If you do up and away from your opponent, you get another one, and if you do up and towards your opponent, you do another one. So I'll go clockwise so you can see the different ones. So this is up and away. Okay, up and away, you got the regular up special. You got up and towards your opponent, and you have just neutral Aurora Beam. Now with up and with the up special and up forward special, it looks like it's the same thing, but it's not. If you look, up special is hitting toward my opponent's health gauge, and up forward is more so toward the synergy gauge. Okay. Then you have what? You got down special. Down special is hail. All right, 3 versions of this: close range, mid range, and long range. Your mid range is what you get if you just do the regular version of it. If you do down and away from your opponent, you're gonna get the close range version. Down and towards your opponent will give you the long range version. Okay, so close to you, mid range, long range, mid range, close to you. All right, and that's that. Let's see. Forward special again is Hydro Pump. Same thing. You can cancel it early, or you can cancel it late, whichever you prefer. Back special again is mirror coat. We've already gone over what that does. And aerial special is again blizzard. The same thing applies. You can't change its direction, you can't change its angle. Once again, charge special is your icy wind. Same thing, it has 3 versions. I've explained what those 3 versions are and how to get them. And I think that is it. Next, I think what we got counters. For counters, same deal. If you do regular input, you dash forward. If you do regular input and then press the weak attack button, you'll shoot into the air. And if you press the weak attack button during the dash, you will get both. Okay, and this is also what it looks like. And that's all 3 landing. Okay, this is what the counter cancels look like. That's forward cancel, this is back cancel. Back cancel and back dash are just better in Duel. And then last we have, I think, the grab. Alright, that's it. The last thing I will show is the synergy burst. Okay, there we go. Wrong input. Alright, that's the synergy burst. To my knowledge, and I might be wrong, but the only thing I've really noticed that's different about Suicune in synergy burst, aside from increased power and speed, is that you get the best version of icy wind every time. So you can just, as soon as Suicune flashes, you can let go of the button and you can get the icy wind. Oh, and I did not explain that, but yeah, you can aim hydro pump left and right in field phase. That's it. Okay. Oh, and then we have the burst attack, which is what I think, true sheer cold. This is a counter based synergy burst, so if you use it and your opponent tries to go for a grab, your opponent will be able to grab you out of it. Well, that's what it looks like. I'll do it again for the people in the back. And I believe that is it. Okay, I think that's everything for Suicune. I'll do an obligatory Celebi, just because Celebi's a oh, I should be closer. Obligatory Johto representation. Okay, and that's it. That's the Suicune guide. Now hopefully this will be somewhere around 30 minutes. Okay, that's all I have for you guys. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I think at the time that I'm doing this in backwards order. Usually I would do a guide and then do online videos. I think I have some online video, and then I think I have some videos with me having friendlies with a Suicune main. Okay. And then I put this out, so I'll just rearrange it differently in a playlist. But that's it. That's been this guy for Suicune. I should say this: if you guys are interested in seeing me do another character before I just pick one on my own, just put it in the comments. Okay, I think for the top row I've yet to do Blaziken, haven't done Lucario, and I haven't done Aegislash. Okay, middle row I have not done Krogunk, Gengar, Decidueye, Machamp, or Empoleon. And then on the bottom row, the only one I have done is Suicune. I have not done anybody else on the bottom row. So if you got somebody that I have not covered and you want to see me, cover it, just put it out there and I'll look at it. It'll probably take me 2 weeks to learn the character, play them online, and then have them memorized to the point where I can put out a guide and know what I'm talking about. But that's something you can look forward to. I try not to drown you guys in Pokkén content. I really try to put other videos out there to bring other people in. But I know what you guys want to see. I'm not deaf to it. Okay. But that's been it for Pokkén Tournament DX. Hope you guys enjoyed and I hope you guys learned something. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you like a lot of videos, subscribe to the channel and help me grow it. And I'll see you guys in future videos. So you guys take care. I'll see you later.